today. It's been a long couple of days in our home, so I was resting. This will be part two of my story. This part is probably the hardest for me to tell because it doesn't involve just me, it involves my children and my ex husband, and so I still don't trust people to treat it with kindness. So I will tell this part, but it won't be salacious or anything like that. And if you're looking for that, you're gonna be disappointed. But I will say that the worst part of it, for me, would be the abuse that happened with the church. That would probably be the worst part of the second part of the story. Not only did it happen, but it was reinforced with the church. So that's where it was the hardest for me and for my children. To this day, I don't know if any of them go to church, to be quite honest. Oh, there's my dog. Hang on one second. Miss Annie wants out. She's outside looking at the storms. Their clouds are out there. So, anyway, I had even gone to the church to express what was happening, and I was met with my job as a woman was to be submissive in all areas, and in every single area. I'm going to say the part that had the most lasting effect on me would be the financial abuse. I still to this day have a very hard time dealing with certain things. Just yesterday, here's an example. Just yesterday, as many of you know, I love to hand quilt. And when you're a quilter like I am, and I've been doing it, we did the math, it'll probably be close to 35 years, if a little bit over. You get very particular about your needles, and you want the best, and so you save up for the best. And so I have my needles that I like. I have two different kinds, and the thread, you want all the best, right? And so I have my stuff, and I couldn't figure out if I had the right one or not, because I had to use some cheap ones until mine came in. And this is all relative so far as money, okay? When I say cheap ones, I bought these for two instead of what I usually buy for a pack of 12 for 9, okay? So they're still relatively cheap, but once again, you got to keep in mind, okay? So I thought, in my head, I'm really thinking this stuff through, okay? In my head, I'm thinking, I really just want to chunk both of these and use this. I know that this was the good one over here. And I was sitting there thinking, and I actually had this little battle in my head, and I actually turned to Joseph and I said, you know what I'm going through here? I'm afraid that there's going to come a time that I'm not going to be able to have these needles. Because when I was married, I was allowed, it's going to sound crazy to y'all, and this is back in the 90s, to have $200 a month to feed and clothe 6 children. Not possible. So now when I got divorced, the court system said each one of them got that. So that was a little bit different for me. Actually, everybody's, oh, is it so hard to be divorced? No, it's actually easier for me. I actually could take care of my children. But anyway, so back to my story. I told Joseph, I said, oh goodness, I'm going through this. And he's like, what's happening? And I told him what was happening. He said, well, honey, you're always going to have needles whenever you want them. Just get the new needles out. And I'm like, you're right. So I did, but you know what I did? I told Joseph, I'm still taking these 2 needles and I'm going to put them over here. And I still did use the new needle. But see how crazy that is? But these, it's been since 98, and I still have these thought processes. That's how devastating trauma can be over especially finances. And so people a lot of times think that financial abuse isn't that big a deal. It is. I've had all the other ones. The only one that I didn't have what we considered partly physical, because there wouldn't be any bruises, and therefore I wouldn't have proof. Okay, so through counseling and everything, of course, I'm a lot better. But that is something my children. Oh, and another story, real quick. Um, when I buy things, it was before COVID had happened, and I've been doing this for years. I buy things in bulk. So we have a lot of people in our home right now, and so I would get on Amazon and buy 2 big cases of toilet paper and paper towels, and I put them in the thing, and out in the garage. And Nikki, my daughter's friend, was here, and she goes, "Well, why does your mom do that? She can just go get more toilet paper." And Nikki started laughing, and she said, "Oh, because she's not sure it's going to be there. She's going to be able to do that." And my kids even know that I'm going to do things like that. And of course, when COVID hit, we were fine. But that's just how you live after you've gone through something like that. And so that part of my life, it would have been up until I was like 35, from 20 to 35, so 15 years. And I'm 57 now, and yesterday I still dealt with a financial abuse. So yes, it didn't have the scars on the outside, but it does have the scars on the inside. And please keep that in mind when you're dealing with trauma in your life and you think, oh, it's no big deal. It is a big deal. So but tomorrow is a little bit easier for me to talk about, and it'll be what happened with Joseph and I, and how I met Joseph, and what we've gone through with that. So I hope everyone has a good day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.